What's going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by. I know it's been a while since I've done a face video. A lot of it's been more GoPro videos, but today I'm going to just cut to the chase. I'm going to do kind of like a review or my thoughts on the Stark Varg that I just picked up about November. I guess not just picked up, but you get the idea. Like I said, I picked it up in November, so I haven't really been able to ride it too much since this nice brisk cold January weather here. I've only been able to ride it twice since I've got it, but I kind of just wanted to do a little breakdown and my thoughts and ideas on the bike and how it is as a bike as a whole. So it's definitely an amazing bike for sure, but there's a lot of pros, but there are some cons, so I'm definitely going to get into everything here. So I will start off with my number one. All I really did is just the graphics. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. I don't even think I'm going to touch the suspension. The suspension is sick. I guess that's the first pro. First really good thing about it, the suspension, KYB suspension. It's pretty solid all throughout when you're riding it. It does have a lot of hold up, but again, it's pretty fresh still. I only ridden it twice, so it still has some breaking in time to do. I will say the rear shock does come super stiff, so I believe when I got this from the dealer, they only ordered like the medium spring rate, and it's super stiff for me. I'm like about 150. It's super stiff for the rear shock. So again, I'm sure that just has to get broken in, but you know, as of right now, I'm not really complaining too much because the bike is such a blast to ride. I don't really care. And again, this is just going to be like a play bike anyway, so it's not too much of a big deal. So yeah, that's the first pro. First good thing about the bike is the suspension, KYB. You can't really go wrong with that. Pretty much the best suspension in the game that you can get right out of the box. So I really had no complaints so far, besides the rear shock being stiff as a board. But again, probably just has to get broken in more because I've only ridden it twice and probably only have like 4 or 5 hours on the bike, not even 3 hours. I don't know. I haven't even done my first gear oil change on these things, and that's apparently something you got to do. About 5 hours in is a gear oil that you got to change out, so supposedly. So I haven't even done that yet, but I've been waiting for, you know, nice warmer weather to do that and before I ride it again. So I would say the second thing about this bike that I love the most is that how friendly it is to new riders, beginners. It's such an easy bike to ride, and why I say that is I got a few reasons why. Is this bike has, you know, it has modes, power modes, so you can switch out the, you know, go up modes and down modes, and you can control the power in each mode type deal. And so I say it's an easy bike for everyone to ride. It's probably the best bike for a beginner or anyone just starting out, for the fact that you can put it down to like 20 horsepower, 25, 30 horsepower, and the thing, it's not really going to take off. You can control it however much you want, depending on who's riding it. So in my opinion, I think just that aspect of it, it makes it just such a perfect bike for a beginner, all the way up to, you know, maybe even an expert rider, pro rider. So yeah, that's another reason why I think this bike is amazing, is that you can tailor it to someone that's never ridden a bike before, or you can go to someone that's, you know, a professional and, you know, can use 60, 65 horsepower, 80 horsepower, whatever the case is, all the time. For my next pro in this bike, I'm gonna have to say, when riding it, if you haven't ridden one of these before, it's very interesting because it's definitely a heavy bike. I think they say it's like 260, somewhere around there. 255, 260s, 265, whatever. It's a pretty heavy bike, but when you're riding it, it feels like a 125. So it kind of goes down to that, you know, user-friendly bike. Like, yes, it's heavy when you're trying to pick it up on the stand. You know, when you're trying to move it, sure, it's heavy, but once you start riding it, once you hit it off a jump or something, or whatever the case is, the thing is so light, it feels like a 125. You can fling it around, and you know, it's such a simple bike to ride, and it makes everything so easy. It makes your cornering easy, it makes your jumping easy because you don't have to think about gearing, you don't have to think about, you know, am I gonna have enough oomph to get out of this corner because this thing is stupid fast and has instant torque? You know, it's such a perfect bike in my opinion for riding, and like a beginner bike. It's an incredible bike. So yeah, it's a crazy user-friendly bike. It's a very, very rider-friendly bike for the fact that you don't have to worry about your gears, you don't have to worry about clutch. You have instant torque, instant power. You don't have to worry about, you know, stalling or anything like that. You know, it's super light when you're riding it. Yes, it's heavy when you're trying to pick it up, but you know, it is what it is. It has a huge battery. So I will say this thing, just the traction on this thing is incredible. Like the front end traction, it feels like you're a cat on carpet. Like you just have so much traction on this thing. If no one's ridden one of these before, it's pretty incredible. Don't knock it before you try it, because I will assure you will definitely have a blast on this thing. You won't, I don't think you would hate it, honestly. Everyone that's ridden it so far has been pretty happy with it and pretty impressed with it. Alright, so I'm going to go over some of the things I don't really like about it, which isn't much. It's only like 2 or 3 things maybe. Other than this, the bike is fantastic. I have no other complaints, but I guess the first one I'm going to go off of is the, you know, obviously, you know, elephant of the room. It's the battery. The battery life, you know, it's not terrible depending on your speed and your ability to ride. It kind of falls back into that user-friendly topic I was talking about for beginners. You know, if you're a beginner, it's going to last a while. You can probably ride all day on this thing and it'll be fine. Versus someone that's a higher level, like an expert or pro, they're definitely going to have to charge it probably every hour. But for me, I wasn't really going too hard, and I was able to get more than an hour of ride time, like straight riding time out of this thing before I started getting worried about the battery being dead or getting low or whatever the case is. So me, perfectly, I definitely think that the thing it's definitely can be a handicap, but again, it all depends on your riding level, on how you put your power to the ground, how much power you're using. Then again, I was only riding at like 48 horsepower for the whole day, and you know, I was fine. So I could do like an hour moto and I would still have, you know, 30% left or whatever the case is. So it's definitely just depends how you ride, but that's just something that you should be cautious of depending on your skill level. I'm definitely gonna do some more testing to see how far I can go personally, how far I can go on it. I don't want to run it down to 0 personally, but close to 0, I guess, and then I'll just go with that type deal. But it does last quite a while depending on your style. But yeah, like I said, the battery can be a defect depending on how hard you're on it and so on. So at the end of the day, it's all up to you on how you manage the battery. But it's not that terrible in my opinion, but it can be a con and a downside to other people. To me, yes and no. I mean, yeah, it does suck to charge it, and it does take a little bit of time to charge it back up to like, you know, 80% or whatever. But other than that, still not really too much of a complaint from me. I mean, it's an electric bike. It's kind of what you signed up for at the end of the day. So yeah, I guess that's the first one. All right, the second one, I'm gonna probably get some hate for this or be a little picky on this one. Taking off like the plastics on this thing, this whole thing is all like one piece. So all of this, including the seat, is all one piece. So you gotta take off, you know, I guess that's not my complaint. The complaint is the seat. The seat comes off with this whole thing. It has like 9 bolts under the seat just to take the seat off. So if you have a seat cover you're gonna bolt onto this thing, you better love it, because I don't want to take this thing off again. And you better make it right. For the fact that it takes 9 bolts to get the seat off of the rest of the plastics. So I guess, again, it's not too much of a complaint for me, because, you know, you just do it once and you're over with if you like it. But if you're someone that changes out your graphics a lot or changes out your seat covers a lot, granted, you don't have to take off your plastics off the bike to put the graphics on. It just makes it helpful if it's 2 degrees outside and you don't want to do it in the cold. But if you're doing your seat cover, you have to take the 9 bolts off to put the seat on, or seat cover on to get the seat off type deal. Again, you know, it's just a nitpicky one, but again, you don't have to take the plastics off to put graphics on or whatever the case is. It's just if you have to replace one of it, or like the fender, if you loop it and you break the fender, you're taking everything off and it's like 20 bolts. All right, so it looks like the last one I'm gonna come up with for something I don't like about the bike is that when they come with the tubes that come with this bike, I haven't taken them out. I'm still actually running the stock tubes, but I've heard that they're like super thin, super thin, and they pop really easily. So I know, like I've said, they're still in there. I've ridden it twice. I put about 3 hours on the bike. Haven't popped them yet, but my history of popping tubes, it's gonna go. I'm calling it right now. It's probably gonna go the next ride, most likely. But I guess the tubes are super thin, so again, not super complaint. You can just switch them out and put normal ones in there. So, but like I said, there's really not much to complain about this bike. This thing is pretty solid as is. You know, there's such a perfect bike straight out of the gate. Stark did an incredible job of making a first bike, or first go at a bike type deal. Best suspension, you know, super narrow. That's one thing I forgot to actually comment on, is how narrow this thing is. Like, look how skinny this thing is. Like, it's such a sweet bike, and it looks skinny. It looks like it's light, but it's not. It's pretty heavy, but it's such a sweet bike. So yeah, I think you know, those are the things that I can think of off the top of my head that I like, dislike. Obviously there's more likes that I have more than dislikes. There's not really too much to dislike about this bike. It's more so just nitpicky stuff. So yeah, as of right now, it's a pretty solid bike. Everything seems really good quality. You know, it has Brembo brakes, KYB suspension. It kind of took the best out of every single brand, like KTM for the brakes, KYB, Yamaha for the suspension, KYB stuff. You know, you can't go wrong with it. And I'm one of those guys that likes the technology side of it too, so I think that's what really drew me into it as well. Like with the map switches, the controllability of the power, you can change the regen on it, you can change everything on this bike. Such a sweet bike. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I know I'm probably forgetting some things, so I'll probably do another one of these later down the road when it's not freezing and I can feel my hands. So I guess with that being said, that's gonna wrap up this video. If you guys like this video, if you guys want to see more videos of the Stark itself, whatever you want to do, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, do whatever you want, stick around. I'm definitely going to be posting a lot more with this thing for sure. I'm going to be doing a lot of races on this. I kind of got this bike to be like a fun bike, fun races like J-Day events, some hair scramble stuff maybe. So we'll see what I do with it, but I'm definitely going to be riding it a hell of a lot more, probably than my 450, honestly, because it's just a fun bike. You know, it's electric. You ride it, you take it out, ride it, put it away, no maintenance. I mean, I guess that's another good thing, just no maintenance, no fuel, no air filters, oil, except for the gear oil you gotta change. But yeah, it's such a sweet bike. So like I said, if you guys want to see any more content on this thing, I'm definitely going to be making a shit ton more of it. GoPro videos, riding content, reviews, racing, you name it, I'll probably be making it. Or you can suggest what you want me to make with it or want me to do with it. So other than that, I think that's going to wrap up this video. So if you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one.